Yep.
Alright guys, so you know that y equals 2x is our straight line over here, and y equals x squared minus 8 is our happy graph. Alright, so now our first question says, determine the coordinates of A and B. Alright, so determine A and B. Alright, so that is this point over here and that point over there. So the way I do this is I do it by making the two graphs equal to each other. Alright, so I say x squared minus 8 equal to 2x. Because I want the points where these two graphs have the same y value.
X, you make the graphs equal to each other.
Yes, I make the two equations equal to each other. Alright, so where it's x squared minus 8 is equal to 2x.
Exactly, because
Okay.
both graphs, those points intersect each other on the same, on the
Yeah,
graph.
exactly. Both graphs intersect each other. This is where the two graphs intersect each other, so they'll be equal to each other at 2 points. So I want to calculate what 2 points will be equal to each other at. Alright, so I take this over, I say x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Alright, so I do my factorization of a trinomial. Alright, guys, remember, please remind yourself of your factorization of a trinomial. So I have x, what will it be?
X plus 2x minus 4.
Yes. X plus 2, x minus 4 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 2 or,
X is equal to negative 2. Or x.
thank you, x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to 4. Alright, you guys happy with how I did that?
Yes.
Okay, so from there, now I've got x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to 4. So I have to work out these 2 points. So now I plug these two values back into my equation. So I can figure out what the y values are. So I say y is equal to 2x, and I plug in my x values. Y is equal to 2 times minus 2, giving me minus 4. So I've got one point that is minus 2 and minus 4. Which point is that? What point is minus 2 and minus 4? Is it A or B? A. Alright, so now I do y is equal to 2x. And I plug in my other point, so plus 4. 2 times 4 gives me 6. So now I've got another point, which is 2 and 6. What point is that?
It's 8. 2 times 1.
Thank you. It's 8. So which point is that?
B.
B. So now I've determined my two coordinates, 5-mark question. Okay. Marks will go as follows. 1 mark for making the equations equal to each other. Yeah.
Isn't it 4 is to 8?
Yes. My brain's not working. Upside we have markers that work. Alright, so 1 mark for each of your final answers. Alright, 1 mark for solving your 2 x values. Alright, that's where your marks will go. Alright. So now, question 2. It says determine the coordinates of C if CE equals 9. Alright, 2. Determine C if CE equals 9. Alright, so this point CE is equal to 9. Which means I know that both of my x values. Alright, so I know that over here my x values will be the same. Okay? The C is equal to 9. So now what I do is I say, so I've got here my gx and my fx.
You do some more.
Okay. You don't need to do simultaneous equations. What you do is you say gx minus fx is equal to 9. Because if I take this point, and if I take this point and I minus this point from it, I'll get 9.
It's the straight line gx.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, the straight line is gx. So I've got fx equals and gx equals. Okay. So fx equals and gx equals. So I take fx, I take gx and I minus fx and I get 9. Okay? So I take that point and I minus that point and I get 9. Okay? So now let me form my equations. So I'll say gx is 2x minus 8 x squared plus 8, because it will be minus x squared minus 8 equals 9.
That's the two equations.
Yeah, so these are the two equations. So you see here, I've just plugged in these two equations. So here's the one equation, here's the second equation. Alright. So I'm minusing these two equations from each other. So I'm plugging my values. 2x minus x squared plus 8 is equal to 9. And now I solve. Alright, so I do my factorization. So I have 2x minus x squared plus 8 minus 9. So I have minus x squared plus 2x minus 1. And I swap it around. X squared, so equals 0. X squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Do you see how I times the whole equation by minus 1 to change the signs? Yeah.
Why did you make x squared negative? Why did you swap them around?
Because I can't do proper factorization of a trinomial if my x squared is negative. So I wanted to make my x squared positive so we could do factorization of a trinomial.
I'm saying it's 2x minus x squared now.
Yeah.
Then when you put it down there, it's negative x squared plus 2xy.
Because I want to be able to do my factorization of a trinomial, and when I do my factorization of a trinomial, x squared comes first, then my x, then my constant. Okay. So now I can do my factorization of a trinomial. So I've got x minus 1 equals 0. Okay? So x is equal to 1. So now I know what my x value is. Over here. This is my x value. Right, so what's the coordinates of C? Okay? And obviously the coordinate, my x value is going to be the same because this is a straight line. Both of these graphs have the same x value. So I want my coordinates of C. So now I'll say y is equal to 2x. I'll plug in 1. Y is equal to 2 times 1. Y is equal to 2. So my coordinates of C are 1 and 2. Okay. Write it down, I'll go through it again. Oh, and E. Okay, we'll quickly do E then. So I want the coordinates of E, so I plug in
Y is equal to x squared minus 8.
y is equal to x squared minus 8. I plug in 1, y is equal to
Negative 7.
1 squared minus 8, y is minus 7. Okay, so then my points E would be 1 and minus 7.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
E, we're using the x squared minus 8 equation because it's on there.
Yeah. So basically, we have gx, which is our straight line. And then fx, which is our curve.
That's how we're gonna know which one.
They'll tell you. Yeah, they'll tell you.
example for this like control test of the test?
So this is an example for the control test, but something like this is coming up. This one specifically isn't going to come up.
So the Wednesday control.
Yeah. Guys, you're writing on Wednesday. Everyone is writing on Wednesday. Alright. I'm going to go through it again. Alright, so to make our, so we have to determine C and E if CE equals 9. So, if I take this equation and I minus this equation, I'm going to get 9. The difference between these 2 points is 9. So, I start here, I say I take gx and I minus fx. And I get 9. Okay? So I substitute in my equations for fx and gx. So my equation for fx is x squared minus 8. My equation for gx is 2x. I substitute those 2 in. Alright, from there, I solve, I do my trinomial factorization. Alright? Morning. I put all my values on my one side so I can do my trinomial factorization. Alright, from there I get an x value of 1. So now I know that for all the points C, D, and E, my x value is 1. Okay, so point D would be 1 and 0. That would be my x value, that would be my coordinates for point D. Alright, then as I go down, I substitute it into my first equation, my g of x equation, to get my point C. Then I substitute it into my f of x equation to get my point D. Okay, we're happy. Alright, can I rub off number 1? Alright, so now we're going to do C. Alright, so it says to us, read from the graph the solution to the inequality. So my first inequality is 2x is greater than x squared minus 8. Right, so this is, I can't remember if we went through this before, but it is a relatively new topic for us. So I want to see where my blue equation, let's go get another marker so I can also have a green equation. Alright, my blue equation and my green equation. So here's my green equation. Alright, so you see how you can do this in your test. You can highlight them. Alright, so that you can tell which equation is which. Alright, so I take my blue equation and I say at what points is it bigger than my green? Alright, so at what points is my value bigger than my green? So I can see from there to there. Those are the 2 points it meets. After these 2 points, this value, the green is bigger, but I want to know where the blue is bigger. So it's between there and there that the blue is above the green. Do you see that? Between there and there, the blue is above the green on the graph. Okay. So now what I do is I say x is an element of, so it'll be, how do they phrase the question? See how they phrase the question. The solution to the inequality. Alright, so we want to know, so it'll be between, when x, alright, so what was A? I've now rubbed it off the board. What was point A?
Minus 2.
Alright, so x will have to be greater than minus 2. X is greater than minus 2. Or x is less than, what was B? 4. Or x is less than 4. Let's write this out. So minus 2. I don't know what
what you're doing and what you're saying.
Okay. So, basically I'm looking at the blue and the green. So I want to see if I'm saying if the blue graph is bigger than the green graph. Alright? At what points over here is the blue graph above the green graph? Because here, the green graph is below the blue graph. Here, the blue graph, here the green graph is below the blue graph. Here the green graph is above the blue graph. Does that make sense? Yeah. Say blue and green one more time. I'm stopping you to speak. Alright. The green graph is above the blue graph here on my y values. Okay? Here my y values is below the blue graph. Okay. Is everyone else equally confused?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying and what you're doing.
Okay, let me think of another way to explain it.
It's math.
Okay, I've got another way to explain it. So I'm looking at my y values. At this point, alright, my y values of the two graphs are equal. Okay? At this point, my y value of blue is bigger than my y value of green. Does that make sense? At this point, my y value of blue is bigger than my y value of green. Here, my y value of blue is bigger than my y value of green. So I want to know where my y value of blue is bigger than my y value of green. And I write it down as an inequality of x. Okay, making more sense now. Alright, let's do the next one. Probably a little more. So the next one is 2x less than or equal to x squared minus 8. Alright, 2x is less than or equal to x squared minus 8. Negative 2 over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Because that's this value over here. Negative 2. X value there. Alright, so now I have my blue graph and my green graph. Alright, so now I want to see where, at what points, the y value of the blue graph is lower than the y value of the green graph. So here, the y value of the blue graph will be less than the y value of the green graph. Okay. Here, the y value of the blue graph will be less than the y value of the green graph. So it goes directly up like that.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't understand what you mean. From here. From it's less because you said on the top.
Alright, so at this point, you see, green graph carries on up like this, right? So at this point over here,
That's what it's based.
yeah. Alright, so at this point here, the green graph is greater than the blue graph. At this point here, the green graph is greater than the blue graph. Did you see that? This x value here, the green graph is greater than the blue graph.
Madam, why don't you write it down?
Instead of using a symbol. Yeah. Okay, I can't think of any other ways to explain it, unfortunately. I'll give you the answer though. Yes, so it's where x is less than or equal to minus 2, or x is greater than or equal to 4. Alright. Alright guys, so it says determine the coordinates of A and C, and we have two graphs. Alright, so the first thing I do is I make my graphs equal to each other. So we've got 4 over x plus 3 is equal to 2x plus 1. Okay?
Madam, so now you change the formula
Yeah.
to plus.
Change the formula, so now it's plus 1. So now I've got 4 over x. I'm going to go through this quickly because I've already done it. 2x plus 1 minus 3. Guys? Alright, so now I say 4 is equal to 2x squared minus
2x.
2x. I'll go back up here, yeah? Have a what? Yes, I know. We're calculating point A. Calculating B and C. A, B. A and C. Okay. A and C as the points we're calculating. Alright, so guys. So I've got 0 is equal to 2x squared minus 2x minus 4. Now we can factorize it. Okay, I can take 2 out. I have x squared minus x minus 2. So then my factorization goes is equal to 0. 0 is equal to 2x plus 2 minus 2 x plus 1. Alright, you guys happy with how I got there?
Yeah.
Plus 1. X plus 1. Alright, so now I've got x is equal to 2 or x is equal to minus 1. Okay? From here, I say x, so now I've got my 2x values. So now I've got to substitute it back into my equation. So I've got y is equal to 2x plus 1. Okay? So I substitute back in, I say y is equal to 2 times 2 plus 1,
5.
which gives me 5. So now I've got my first point, which is 2 and 5. Which point is that? Is it A or C?
The top one.
A. Alright, so I substituted my next one in. Y is equal to 2 times minus 1 plus 1. Y is equal to minus 1. So now I've got my second point. It is minus 1 and minus 1. Then that'll obviously be my point C.
Madam, why are we not using the other equation for C?
We can use the other equation for C if we want to, but I find it easier to use the straight line equation than to use the exponential equation.
Madam, can you use it also for A? Because they're on the same hyperbola. Hyperbole. Madam, could you also use it for A as well? Because they on this one, they're on the same.
How did I get, guys? Quiet, please. How did I get mine?
From the third to the fourth.
Here to here. Alright, so I factorized. I did factorizing of a trinomial. So I said my factors of 2 are 2 and 1. And how do I get 2 and 1 to make minus 1? I say minus 2 plus 1, and they are my factors. Okay, yeah.
You see there 0 is equals to 2x minus 2x plus 1.
Yeah.
We did it over. Where did the 2 go?
So guys, what happens if you divide 0 by 2? 0, exactly. So we took the 2 over first, but it became 0 anyway, so it doesn't matter. The 2 falls away. Okay. So now, I want to calculate. Guys, I've got a point here, a point here, and a point there. No, it's the same graph, I'm just adding some stuff to it. Alright, so this is W, no, Q, R, and S. And S. Okay, This is Q, R, and S. So I've just added those points to the graph. I'll add them in black because the stuff on the graph is black. S, R, Q. All right, and these all line up. All right, so if I say S is the point 1. So if I say, so number 3 says, I'm just going to write number 3 over here. If S is 1 and 0, calculate Q, R. Alright, so I have to calculate the distance QR. Alright. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first calculate the point R. Alright, so I know my X value. Sorry, wrong color.
1.
X value is 1. X is equal to 1. Alright, so that means if I want point R, so I'll say, for R, y is equal to 2x plus 1. Y is equal to 2 times 1 plus 1. So y is equal to 3. So my point R is 1 and 3. I plugged in my x value into this equation. Okay? Sorry? Yes. We have to choose any. Well, for R, we have to choose the straight line equation because R is on the straight line. We can do either one first. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate Q. So for Q, I say 4 over x plus 3. Y is equal to 4 over x plus 3. Alright, so now I plug in my x value. So y is equal to 4 over 1 plus 3. So y is equal to 7. So my point Q is 1 as to 7. Now what's my difference between R and Q? Alright, since this is 3 and that's 7, what's my difference between these two numbers? 4. So QR is 4 units. Okay. Alright, so now if I say solve this question 4. Solve f(x) is equal to gx. What are they asking me to do? Alright, find the points of intersection of the two graphs. Yes. Alright, so do you see how this equation, solve for fx is equal to gx, is the same as saying find the points A and C? Do you see how that is the same question? Alright, so what I do here is I say 4 over x plus 3 is equal to 2x plus 1. Alright, and then I solve for x. And now I don't need to write the coordinate points, I just need to solve for x because they said solve the equation. So I do what I did before. I said 4 over x is equal to 2x minus 2. 4 is equal to 2x squared minus 2. 0 is equal to 2. X squared minus 2 minus 4.
Wait, no.
I'm just rewriting this.
Yes, but then it's also minus 2x because you multiply them.
Minus 2x. Minus 2x minus 4. Alright, so then I do my factorization. So I take 2 out, so I say x minus 2, x plus 1 equals 0. So x equals 2 or x equals minus 1. That's as far as I need to go. Okay, I don't need to go any further and find the actual coordinates. I can stop there because it said solve the equation. Same thing as question 2, except question 2 would be for more marks because I have to find the actual points. This question, I just have to solve the equation. Okay. So what happens if I have drawn these two graphs. So if I was given the question where it said draw 4 over x plus 3 and 2x plus 1, and then I went through the process of drawing the graphs. I don't need to go for drawing graphs with you guys again, do I? Alright, if we have time at the end, I'll do it. But I assume that you guys know how to use your calculator to do it, otherwise we use the table method. Drawing of graphs is kind of easy. Okay, so let's assume that I've drawn these two graphs, which means I know exactly where these 2 points are because I can read it off my graph because I've drawn these two graphs. What happens if they say solve fx is equal to gx? Can I read it off the graph? Okay, so I drew fx, this being fx, and I drew gx. Obviously, I know where points A and C are, but they say determine solve for fx is equal to gx. I still have to do this whole process of solving. I can't just write out the points of the coordinates from the graph. Right? I can't just read it off the graph. I still have to solve it because they used the word solve. If they wanted me to read it off the graph, they would have said read the points of intersection off of the graph. Or from your graph, determine the points of intersection. Not solve. The word solve means that you have to go through the process and solve it. Okay, do you want me to write that down for you guys? Okay, given this point is 0 and 2. Quiet please. This is your line y is equal to 1. This is the point. Minus 1 and 4. Okay, and I say this graph is y is equal to a times k x plus q. Solve, and my question is, yeah.
So which means this graph is an exponential.
Yes. Alright, and my question says, solve for, please stop talking, a, k, and q. Solve for a, k, and q. Alright. So now, if I want to solve for a, k, and q, what's the first one I get?
Q
Q. So I know q
is 1.
is equal to 1 because that is my asymptote. So now I've already got q is equal to 1. So now I need to rewrite my equation. And I say y is equal to a times k to the power of x plus 1. So now I need to solve for a. When I'm solving for a, I plug in my y-intercept. So I say, I'm doing my y-intercept, it will be 2 is equal to a times k to the power of 0 plus 1. Okay, we happy with this?
Yeah.
So I say 2 is equal to a times 1 plus 1. So 2 is equal to a plus 1. Can I rub off question 4?
Yes.
Alright, so from here I say a, I'll take the 1 over, I say 1 is equal to a. So now I have my a value. Now I've got y is equal to 1 times k to the power of x plus 1. Okay? Now we're solving for k. Because it said solve for these two values, 1, 2, 3. I've solved for a, I've solved for q, so now I'm solving for k. So now I plug in my last point I've got over here. So I've got 4 is equal to 1 times k to the power of minus 1
So it becomes a fraction.
plus 1. Okay?
Yes.
So then I take my 1 over. I've got 3 is equal to k to the power of minus 1. And now, you guys showed me a cool way to do this on the calculator. Alright guys, so now what I can do is I know I need to take the root, guys. Shh. I know I need to take the root of 3, but it needs to be the root to the minus 1. So, I turn on my calculator. And I have a little button that looks like this. Alright, like that. Okay?
Yeah. You put that shift and
So you press shift, and you get that, and then you say minus 1, and you put in 3. It gives you your answer of 1/3.
Yeah.
Do you see how I did that?
Yeah. So y is equal to a third to the x.
So k is equal to 1/3. So since I said solve for a, k, and q, that is the end of your question.
You don't have to write it.
All right. Question like this, you'll get 1 mark for q. I'll mark in green.
Madam, would we have to calculate this for hyperbola in the control test?
Yeah. Alright guys, shh. Where would your marks go? You get 1 mark for Q, 1 mark for A, 1 mark for 1/3. Alright, so that'll be 3 marks. We get 1 mark for substituting in 0 for K. 1 mark for substituting in -1 for X. Okay, that's where you get your 5 marks for this question.